Welcome to When the Smoke Clears. I am the Recovery Plug. I hope you guys are doing great today. I know my day is going just fine. If you would please join me in a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer for the addict who still suffers, for those of us who are still bound down to some sort of struggle that keeps us from moving forward in this toxic life that we live in, man. So yes, if you would please join me in a moment of silence. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, wisdom to know the difference. All right, well, now that we got that done, how's it going, man? It's Thursday. I told you guys I was going to be doing my videos on Thursday, so what's up, man? Happy Thursday. Check this out. You know, I'm going to do a little something different today that I normally don't do on my videos, but it's something that I want to incorporate because I believe, it's just one of the things that I want to do just to get the energies going, to kind of... It's part of my path, I guess. I guess I could say that it's part of my path that I'm living in my daily life today, and that's my spirituality. That's my path of the Buddhist practice. And so what I want to do is, let me take these glasses off so I can get ready here. I just want to ring us in and just chant the Odama-kyu 3 times, just to get the energies going and to get the guidance going. So if you would please indulge me in this little bit of a brief meditative just grounding of the video, you know what I'm saying? So we're going to get started with that, with the ring of the bell, and then we'll chant the Odama-kyu 3 times. If you please join me, thank you very much. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, please guide me. Founder Nikyo, great teacher, the one vehicle, please guide me. Co-founder Myokyo Bodhisattva, the way of compassion, please guide me. President Wano, please guide me. All sentient beings connected to myself, please guide me. Alrighty, well, let's get started. Okay, well, now that we got that done, I feel good about that. You know what I'm saying? I really do. It just gets the I don't know, it's just something that I feel I need to start doing. So, you know, there you go. So let's get into the subject of today, man. What I got for you guys today. I came across an article that I read, which I thought was really cool. I believe that it has a bunch of insight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the short article to you, and then I'll go into a breakdown discussion of what I think the message is in the article, and give my personal, you know, opinion about it, and I'll elaborate a little bit on a few of the things that I think stick out and that sort of thing. So we'll dive in, man. So check this out. This article is titled "The 4 Basic Afflictions," and this is written by the president of Rishoku Sekai, which is Nichigo Nuwano, and he wrote this not too long ago. So it was published not too long ago in Dharma World, so I thought it was a really cool article, so I just want to share it with you guys, and you know, we'll make a discussion out of it. You know what I'm saying? How cool is that? So okay, so I'm going to get started with the reading. So it goes like this. It says, one of the 4 seals of the Dharma, the keystone of Buddhism, is Issaya Kayaku, which is all phenomena are characterized by suffering. That's what that means. And you know, expressing in plainer terms the word suffering, we could say the things in this world will not turn out as we want them to. It is human nature to want to make everything bend to our will, and for things to be as we wish them to be. But in reality, we cannot control the many things that occur all around us. In particular, the 4 afflictions of birth, aging, sickness, and death represent suffering. You know, we all have parents and ancestors, and we were all born into the midst of incalculable causes and conditions. You know, it's not as if we were born on our own terms. You know, since we are aging, even as we are thinking, we want to remain forever young. You know, that doesn't go as we would like it to either. You know what I'm saying? So we want to remain healthy, but not everyone can. And then there is the reality that everybody dies, no matter who they are. Birth, aging, sickness, and death, none of these go according to our own desires. That is the meaning of all phenomena are characterized by suffering. Now, in spite of being taught this, we say, Lord Buddha, I beseech you, please let me be healthy forever and live a long time. And it's fine to ask these things, you know, of the Buddha. But expressing thanks for what you already have received should come first. You know what you should appreciate more than anything is the fact that you are blessed right now with life. You know, when you realize what a miracle your life is, then you become able to accept everything with thankfulness. If you take the attitude that you can entrust your becoming sick, becoming old, and dying to the Buddha, you can enjoy your life even in the context of all phenomena are characterized by suffering. And that's the article. It's a really cool, I believe it's a really deep article. You know what I mean? Such a short article, but President Nuano really, you know, gouges into the philosophy of Buddhism there. You know what I'm saying? Which is a really cool deal, because if you know anything about Buddhism, it's exactly that. It's deep philosophy, man. It's deep mental thinking, and you can and you got to be careful, because it's full of rabbit holes. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to discuss the article. I'm going to kind of break it down of what I think, you know, the article is talking about, and the kind of messages that we can get out of it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the teaching, you know, being explained there in this article is talking about the 4 seals of the Dharma. You know, specifically the Asai Kyoku, which means all phenomena are characterized by suffering. Now, this is a core Buddhist insight. You know, life doesn't unfold according to our desires. You know, it's not meant to be pessimistic. You know, it's meant to reveal the mismatch between what we want and how reality actually works. You know what I mean? And you know, that first part there of that article, which talks about exactly that, the phenomena of this, you know, characterized by suffering. And if you really look at it, you don't live your life. There's no your life. There's no you if there's no suffering. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, you know, tend to get into that thing where we just like, oh my God, there's just too much suffering. Why is this happening to me? And that sort of thing. But in reality, it happens, because that's part of life. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people I guess it's just me. I'll just say it like that. You know, one of the things that I say is like, what suffering really means is the things in this world will not turn out as we want them to. You know what I mean? That's really what it means, as I think so. You know what I'm saying? And reason is that humans naturally want. You know what I'm saying? We naturally want stuff. We have that thing that just us as humans. We want. And we want control. We want predictability. We want comfort. We want permanence. You know? But reality doesn't obey our preference, unfortunately. You know what I mean? The gaps, the gap creates dukkha, unsatisfactoriness. That's what that control, predictability, and comfort and permanence, that's what it's giving you. You know what I'm saying? Now you can have control for a minute, but everything in this world that we do, you'll come to find out, is of impermanence. You know what I'm saying? And suffering starts over. It's that cyclical cycle that keeps happening, the phenomena that keeps happening. Why does it happen? We don't know. That's just life. That's just the way it happens. Why doesn't everything, why do we, why are we only happy for a little while? Because you get tired of it. Because we are human beings and we want more. You know what I'm saying? Now you can go on vacation and be happy at vacation and think, what do most people say? They're on the beach, oh man, I could be here forever, da da da. But no, eventually you're going to get tired of the vacation and you're going to want something different. You know what I mean? That's just a natural phenomenon of suffering. That even though you're in that comfortability, guess what? That is still a level of suffering. How about that? You know what I mean? And it's, the predictability, like we want things to go a certain way. We want to predict our day so that we think it's going to go smooth. And we are in that delusional way of thinking that, oh yeah, I did this so my day goes great. But in reality, that's just you playing tricks on yourself, thinking that you did a good job by doing that. You know what I mean? But in reality, you got no control over what's going to happen throughout the day. You got no control at all. You know what I mean? What you got control of is the awareness of what happens when suffering comes. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go on to discuss a little bit more of what the article says. And it says, the other part was the 4 universal sufferings. I love this part because, the 4 universal sufferings is that birth, aging, sickness, and death. These are not punishments. They're simply conditions of being alive. You know what I mean? Birth, we didn't choose the circumstances we were born into. It just happened. You know what I mean? That's how you evolved into this world. It's wherever you were born. You didn't have no control over that. You know what I mean? Aging, we want to stay young, but guess what? The body changes anyway. You know what I mean? Sickness, we want perfect health, but guess what? Illness comes. And death, gosh, death. Nobody escapes death. And no matter their status or wishes, death comes. And, even death is suffering, doesn't have to be suffering. You know what I'm saying? There's grieving, but the suffering, know that, I want you guys to understand this, that even though our life evolves and revolves around these 4 universal sufferings, even though it does, it doesn't mean that it's going to last. It's not that suffering's not going to last forever. You know what I mean? It doesn't. That's the good thing. That's the thing that is it's going to be part of that awareness of you to understand how to live your life with the suffering. And we're going to get into a little bit more of that in a minute. And another part of this article is our habit of asking for exceptions. You know what I mean? We the article talked about, human tendencies that we always pray for this and that. We pray for the eternal youth. We pray for perfect health, for long life, for, no suffering, But these prayers contradict the very nature of existence. You know what I'm saying? It really does. I don't think Nichio Nwano or Nichiko Nwano isn't saying we shouldn't pray. Only that gratitude comes first. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to do your prayers and to ask for whatever you're going to ask for, but you should be asking for gratitude first. You should be thankful for the things that you have first. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us don't do it like that. We just like, oh, we're in this situation or whatever, and oh, please get me out of it. You get sick, oh God, please help. You see it on Facebook all the time. Oh, my dad's sick, or my mom, or my brother. Please, prayer warriors, where are you at? But what happened to all the time before that? You know what I mean? Where are the prayer warriors before that? You know what I'm saying? You yourself have to lead that prayer warrior, army. It starts with you. You got to be praying first. You got to be thankful, and if you're going to be that prayer warrior guy or girl. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait till you're sitting sick in the bed somewhere, or you're going through this thing, or you're fixing to get a few years in court or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait for that. That's what it's talking about, of being unaware and delusional of the life of that. Of the suffering, of those 4 universal sufferings, man. You know what I'm saying? Because in our daily life, we tend to just, hey, whatever. You know what I mean? And it can get you in trouble, man. And when you could have had, I just call it, I call it, because it's from my military background, I call it the preventative maintenance program. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a preventative maintenance spiritual program, so that when times do come, you're aware of it and you got a good response. You got a good foundation to react to the suffering that's coming. You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. It's really polishing yourself up for the big game. You know what I'm saying? Polishing yourself up for the fourth quarter, man, for that 2-minute drill. It's exactly that. You know what I'm saying? And when you lead a spiritual life, practice spirituality in whatever context it is that you want to practice it, you're going to find out that the natural reaction time to the suffering is going to differ than when you're stuck in this, cyclical, life of suffering. And that of always want. You know what I'm saying? And when we're living in that delusional life, because we're wanting things of non-existence. You know what I'm saying? We're doing things so that things happen in the future. Oh, let me get all this stuff ready so that, my week turns out right. You know what I mean? Or, oh, let me do it this way because this happened before, so now I'm going to do it this way. So you're living from things that don't exist anymore from the past, and you're doing things for the things that haven't even happened yet, for the future. You know what I mean? So your mind is in this fake world that you're planning your day out in, and your awareness out in this fake world. You're not talking about the here and now, where we need to be focused on. You know what I'm saying? We need to focus on us. What's happening right here? What's happening right here? How can I help you? You know what I mean? How can I help my neighbor? How can I help my friend? How can I help my mom? How can I help my sister, my brother? What do I have to do to help them in any fashion? You know what I mean? And that's a hard thing to do. You know, I'm guilty of that. You know, I can tell you that from the jump. You know what I mean? I'm guilty of that, of not being that bodhisattva to other people the way I should. And I'm working on it. You know what I mean? That's the path that I'm taking, and that's part of it. That's part of polishing up. That's the preventative maintenance spiritual plan, man. You know what I mean? Which is a good thing. You know what I mean? Because and it's never too late. You know what I'm saying? I wish I would have had this mental concept years back, but I needed to go through some suffering. You know what I'm saying? In order for my capacity of awareness to grow, I needed to go through some of those 4 universal sufferings in my life to get to where I'm at now. And to lead, because it's part of that rooted foundation. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a good spiritual foundation without the trials and tribulations. It's just impossible. You know what I mean? So, not saying that I hope everybody suffers so you can have a stronger foundation. No, by no means am I saying that. But it's just life. You know what I mean? It's just life. Things happen in your life uncontrollable. It's a phenomenon. But the cool thing about it is that we have, I like to call it the superpower. How cool is that? We have that superpower. We have free will. That we're able to change. We're able to change that reaction time, the awareness. We're able to change the capacity levels of one's own wisdom and knowledge. You know what I mean? At any time. You know what I'm saying? That's the cool part about that, dude, is that we can do that at any time. And we have that capability, you know what I mean? And so anyway, let me go on to another part of what it says about the article. The other part of the article has this heart of a message is appreciate the miracle of being alive right now. You know, when we recognize the improbability of our existence, the countless causes and conditions that made our life possible, we naturally soften into gratitude. You know what I'm saying? You know, from the gratitude, we can begin to accept the inevitabilities of sickness, aging, and death, not with fear, but with trust. You know what I'm saying? With trust that you're going to be okay. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful, man, that I'm able to be sitting here and discussing something like this with you, because one of the things that has, I guess, maneuvered my heart, my feelings, my thought process into trying to spread messages and to set examples for the people in my immediate family. You know what I mean? To set examples for my daughters and my grandkids that a spiritual way of life is healthy. A spiritual way of life is a good way, man, that can help you in the life of suffering. You know, and it's just one of those things, man. The reaction time in the daily things that you do, if you could get back all that time when you reacted a certain way, man, you would be filled up with a good amount of years, I bet. You know what I'm saying? That because of your reaction a certain way, it led you to live in a certain type of way. And I could attest to that, man. You know, I lived many years with addiction, which in turn there caused suffering, not only for myself, but everything connected to me. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, my family, my kids, my ex-wife, my ex-in-laws, you know, friends, you know, just anybody who I knew at that particular moment in time. You know, because of that thing that I was addicted to, I was in this world of addiction, I caused suffering for other people. You know what I'm saying? And my reaction to that was there was no reaction, because I was in this comfort zone. And that's the delusional comfort zone that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That you could be doing this thing that's killing you, and you don't care because you're in a comfortable zone. You know what I'm saying? You don't see it yet until it's too late. Until you come home and no one's there waiting for you. You know what I'm saying? Until you get the phone call that your friend passed away from doing too many drugs or doing too much drinking. Whatever the case is, you know what I'm saying? Just like that was one of the phone calls I got. And my dad passed away because he drank too much. And the reaction, you know what I'm saying? How could I, if my mental thought process was in this context the way I am now, then who knows how life would have been. But, you know, it's no here nor there, right? It's just examples, you know what I'm saying? I don't dwell on it. It's just examples, and I do what I can now. I do what I can today. I do what I can right here, spreading the message, sending the energies through this video, wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? And just you know, if we can trust our aging sickness and eventually death to the Buddha, or to whatever, to your God, whatever it is you want to call it, or to the Dharma, you know what I mean, or to that natural order of things, then we can enjoy our life even within the truth that all phenomena are characterized by suffering. You know, this isn't resignation, it's liberation, I think. You know what I mean? It's freedom that comes from letting go of the illusion of control. It's freedom that comes from accepting impermanence. It's freedom from rooting ourselves in gratitude. You know what I mean? It's freedom from a different way of thinking. To not be in that cyclical cycle of suffering. You know what I'm saying? I'm here today to tell you that you can change from being depressed, from being addicted to drugs, from being, you know, from dealing with trauma in whatever degree that is for you. You know what I mean? Even though the road can seem hard sometimes, the key here is the consistency of doing something that enables you to be aware of the sufferings and how to react a certain way. And I can tell you this, since I've been in this since I've been practicing spirituality in my life for the last few years, I can tell you that my life has really evolved. You know what I mean? Evolved mentally, evolved spiritually, evolved emotionally, which is awesome because I feel rooted. I feel rooted. You know what I mean? I feel rooted down that no matter how hard the wind blows, and no matter where the wind's blowing from, whether it's coming from the east, north, southwest, doesn't matter. It can blow a little bit to the left, it can blow a little bit to the right, but you know what? I'm still rooted in the spiritual teachings. And for me, the spiritual teachings of the Threefold Lotus Sutra has been a real eye-opener and a real solid foundation for a spiritual life, man. And it's allowed me to deal with the sufferings in my life according to the capacity of my spiritual journey. You know what I mean? And which is great because, you know, I've gone through a few things that were, you know, I know by no means do I just, okay, nothing bothers me. You know, things that do bother me and the things that happen, I'm not reverting to the old way of me. And that was the addiction. That was doing things because I didn't care what happened to myself personally. You know what I mean? All I know, if I did this, if I drank that, or if I smoked that, I don't think about it anymore. And that was good enough for me. That was my comfort zone. And I can tell you that today, my life, whenever I get that feeling, whenever I get that emotion, whenever I get that craving, whenever I get that want, all I do is I sit a minute. I sit in the stillness. I sit in the stillness. And sometimes I chant whatever mantra comes to my mind at the particular time, you know what I mean? I'll chant. Or I'll sing something in my head or strum my guitar. And that's the awareness. You know what I'm saying? That's the awareness that I have today. That I could do something like that because I have that superpower of free will. That I know that if I do this for a little while, just a few minutes, that it's going to change the outcome of my suffering at that particular moment in time. You know what I'm saying? For the better. You know what I mean? Never, not even once, not even close to once, has my suffering reverted back to the old ways when I do anything that I just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for that. That's one of the things, like the article said, you should be grateful, asking, thanking. I'm grateful for my life today. I'm grateful that I have my kids today. I'm grateful that I got my grandkids today. I'm grateful that I'm able to wake up today. I'm grateful that I'm able to spread a message with you, to share my personal feelings with you. You know what I'm saying? That's deep to me. You know what I mean? To get in front of a camera and share some of your emotions, that's an intimate setting. You know what I'm saying? That means you're getting some knowledge and wisdom that you can take to heart. That this knowledge and wisdom is proven to work, to alleviate suffering at some degree. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's going to be it, man. Man, you know what? I really thank you guys for watching the video today, man. I really do. What a cool article, dude. You know what I'm saying? What a cool article. I like reading different articles. I love just... You know, that's one of the things that you know, when I'm talking about the whole concept of living a spiritual way, you do things like that. You know what I mean? Never before in the addiction would I've been stopping, you know, and reading an article and giving some feedback on it. You know, that wasn't going to happen. But I'm grateful, man, that I can be able to do that today. And that I hope that it helps somebody. I hope that my energies are feeding your energies, man, that we touch here, that I hope that some of my rooted energies go into your life and start rooting something foundational and strong for you, a spiritual way, man, and whatever that whatever spiritual path you're on, you know what I mean? And I'm grateful for that. But anyway, if you're pleased at this time, hit that subscribe button, man. I'd greatly appreciate it. Just know that when you do hit the subscribe button, it doesn't cost you a thing, man. It don't cost you a thing at all. But guess what? You'll be helping out another veteran, another homeless person, another person dealing with PTSD, childhood traumatic experiences, drug addiction, alcoholism, grief, depression, all those types of things, man. Suicidal thoughts, all those types of things, man. Because you know what? I've dealt with all of those things, man, at one point in time in my life. And guess what? I know a way out. And my way out could be your way out. So until the next time when the smoke clears, I am the recovery plug.